The year has just started. Happy New Year, guys. And I know for so many of you, you have New Year's resolutions. And one of them, I'm sure, includes traveling. Yeah? So allow me take you on a journey on how traveling can be made possible in 2024. So to have this amazing conversation with me, I have Laura on the channel today. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
So just let them know who you are, and then we can have the travel discussion.
My name is Laura, commonly known as Laura Travelneza. All my names the other names just disappeared and became Laura Travelneza. Yes.
Anyway, so before we begin, I just want to, an icebreaker question, just to ask, how many countries have you traveled to?
About 42.
Wow, guys, 42 and counting, and counting. That's counting. Really amazing. And you know, as I was going through my year last year, one of the goals I had, of course, was to travel, you know, and for some reason, as the year was going, it was just not working. And I realized so many people are not traveling as much. And I know travel is really essential in our exposure, in just learning new cultures and all these amazing things and building all these, you know, experiences and memories. And I feel like many people are not traveling. So I asked on my Instagram, you know, why aren't you traveling as much? And we got so many responses that I thought you would be the right person to answer them, you know. Those queries that people have, I'm sure you'll be the one to answer them. So, you're ready. One of the biggest ones that came up was, where is the money? Where are people getting the money to travel? Because we do not have money. I don't have money. It's expensive to travel. What can you say about that?
Well, the reason why I keep saying that travel involves, you have to really plan, is because, especially in this Uganda of ours, you just can never have money lying around. There's always something happening. So you have to be able to plan, you know, book in advance, put your money aside if you've decided to travel, you know, things like the travel wallet that I'll talk about later. But basically, it's something that has to be planned for and paid for in small installments. Otherwise, you will just never have money for travel in a lump sum like that lying around there. How? With all these wedding meetings. And,
I know.
You know, just so many things that we have going on, as you know, you know.
So planning for travel, and I think I've experienced that. So many times we put them on our resolution, but then we don't actually act on them. So you want to travel where, first of all, you know, pinpoint that destination, and then what are you going to do about it? If we're just hoping that end of the year, because so many people reach and then, oh my god, we need to go for a holiday in December, and now it's too late, everything is expensive, you know. So how does Travelneza help with that bit? How have you found it to be easier?
So one of the things that we started to do with, we created a travel community called the Neza Club, right? So with the Neza Club, we would, so we release a calendar with all these destinations. I'm sure you've seen that. With all these destinations included there, with the prices and the best time to travel to, all that. So it stops being just a dream, you know, we would like to travel, but then, you know, we made it more tangible, like you can almost touch it, you can see it, you can see the holiday. So it makes it so much easier to plan for. You're like, okay, there's that Dubai in August, all I have to do is pay $100 monthly. Okay, let me do this, rearrange this and that. So that's what I mean by we made it tangible like that, you know. So much easier to plan for, so accessible, so convenient.
And you see many times when you look at when you look at the big chunk, that is $1,300, for example, it seems a lot, but when you break it down to $100 a month, I think it becomes accessible. And you'll find that at the end of the month, you actually spent that money on Javas, you've gone out like 7 times, you've housed all your birthdays, and yet you could have actually put that down as a priority for you. So think through that, and maybe it can actually make the travel so much easier. Okay, all right. So someone else here was saying, no company, vana gay, like they don't have who to go with, and we've experienced that. You have a WhatsApp group of friends, and then you list down, guys, can we travel, next year? And everyone is like, yes, 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 but the travel never leaves the WhatsApp group. So you don't have anyone to go with. Maybe you are ready, but then your friend is now pregnant, she can't go. Or now something has happened. So yeah, what would you have to say to someone like that?
Actually, after affordability, well, people believing that travel is not affordable, this issue of no company is actually the second biggest issue. So once again, it's why we created the Neza Club, right? Because then you can actually join a couple of other people who also don't have company. Their friends have folks, or they are going through different phases of their lives and they can't travel at that point. So now when you join this community of travelers, then you have company, you have people who just want to go to this destination, just want to get out there. And you would be shocked how easy it is to bond, And we try, as Travelneza, we try everything possible to make sure that people bond, get to know each other, and just make it fun and seamless. And Lisa, you'll tell me the rest.
Because other people also responded that I'm an introvert, and it takes me time to bond with people and things like that. So I can't just go with random people that I do not know. And I felt that because I've mentioned to you guys, I went to Cape Town, with Travelneza, and I was going alone, like I didn't know all these people. But what really helped for me is, first of all, when I was applying, of course, for the visa, I met some people applying, and we applied together. Hi, I'm a mom. Oh, me too. Where have you left your kids? But I'm still going for that trip. All right, let's go to the visa office, and then we went together. And then the soiree, I really think that one is a good idea, because we got to talk with the people, and then you're putting faces. You're like, okay, that is Brian. Okay, that is Abigail. All right, so that now when you meet at the airport, you already kind of know these people. So I think for me, as an extrovert, but who fears random strangers, I felt at ease, and I actually enjoyed the trip. So have you had those testimonies as well? Yes,
a lot. And especially because there's just, this is Uganda. We're such a social community, but then it also means that everyone belongs to a different group of friends and people you went to school with. So we're not used to just making random friends and things like that. So everyone's like, but then will I? Oh, let me tell you, I actually love watching the introverts, because usually they all get to bond, and then you find these two introverts, or who thought they were introverts, really become friends, and now start to even join other trips together, other Neza Club trips together. So, and the soirees, do you think everyone knows what a soiree is?
Oh, okay, break it down for them.
A soiree is like a light party, a get together, usually in the evening. So we didn't want to call it a party or a bash or anything like that, right? Very subtle. So these are get-togethers that we organize usually about 2 weeks to the trip, just so people can get to know each other. And we always make sure that it's very engaging. So usually a quiz night or painting, or like the last one was wine tasting, different things like that. So people really get to know each other, but not in an imposing way. It just really flows. Didn't you feel like it just?
I felt it. And not only that, I felt like it was a space to network.
Yes.
To just know people that you did not know. When you're so fixed in your circle, that's all you know. You have to be exposed. So I really like that. And then also, I just want to know, as we're talking about travel, how did you get to start to travel like to all these countries? Maybe just a background as well.
A background. Wow. My parents traveled a lot when I was young. My dad had one of those international jobs, so we had to travel a lot, and he always made sure never to leave us behind. So we got to travel a lot, but then it didn't matter whether it was for work or whatever. My parents just always loved to go sightseeing, So even as a baby, there are just so many pictures of me on a bridge somewhere or this, and I think it's stuck, you know. So we traveled a lot as children. I think that's why I'm very passionate about family travel also. You know, take your children out there. You don't know how much, you know, it's going to impact their lives. I mean, look, they are actually the reason why it's Travelneza.
Yeah. And speaking of children, I know someone here actually said, because they are mom, children, and they say children, because moms feel like, now I have children, like how do I actually travel? And I know that you have a son, a lovely son who you travel with. Just tell us more about that. How can we make it possible?
Well, it always starts with affordability, you know, to plan. First, it's just that determination of like 2024. My son is now 4 years old. I am going to go somewhere. And this somewhere does not, please don't think Dubai, etc. It doesn't have to be that. It could be Lake Mburo, which is 3 hours from here. It could be Ginger. It could be... I've gone with my son to Ginger so many times and we've done different things and he enjoys it every single time. But the children are the easiest people to impress. They do the same thing. You've experienced the same thing over and over until like, aren't they really bored with this? But now about how to plan as Travelneza, we have a whole section for family travel and we just make sure that we have researched, done all the work to put together family-friendly packages. So resorts, hotels that really cater for families, right? That have all these activities or kids' books, kids' toys, family rooms, you know, those rooms that are big enough for you to sleep with your kids because they're, you know, sometimes too young to sleep in a whole other room. You know, things like that. So it's actually quite... it's easy for a family to go on holiday when they look at our packages with everything that it includes. But mostly it's to just make that decision. If that's what you want for your children, then make the decision.
And as I was in Cape Town, you know, it just hit me, and I think we've had this conversation before, what it does to your child to be exposed. For example, if your child wants to be an engineer, you know, and all he sees are Ugandan roads. That's the mentality that we'll have. Or an architect, those are the buildings he sees. And then if he steps out into another country and then begins to see that there are 4 lanes all going in one direction, like the possibilities. Do you get? So they get aware of what is possible. Their minds are more open, you know, to all these things. So it becomes this thing of, can our children even compete with people who are more exposed, you know? So what has it done for your child?
No, I mean, it's like, let's say when you go on those, I'll use Dubai, because that's the most common out of Uganda. And you go through a train station, the train ride, you know, how seamless it is. I mean, the train goes right into many of the major malls, you know? So imagine children seeing this, and now when they come back, as you're there in traffic, they start to make comments like, if only we had a train like the other one that could take us to this or that place, then maybe we wouldn't be stuck in traffic like this. If a 4-year-old is sounding like that, 5, 6, 7, and they just keep seeing all this, you know, when you see that, even what you start to research, when they start to use a laptop, basically you have opened up their minds to all these possibilities. Imagine you travel with a child and they see, you know, those street umbrella thingies where you can just press a button and an umbrella comes out when it's raining, or where you can, you know, so things like that. Then they know that stuff like that is possible. I mean, isn't that person in a better position or a better place than a child who just hasn't seen any of this? Who do you think will become the better engineer, the more innovative and creative one?
And sometimes we think, the truth is, yes, it can seem to be expensive, but if you just plan, I've seen, you know,
it's all in planning.
It's all in planning. Put that money aside, get the destination. Don't start from the most expensive, even if it's just in Kenya, just next door, you know, or in Ginger, like you say. It's just that exposure and just having a different environment, because I've learned a lot that our environment shapes us. So what we think and believe we can do is shaped by our environment. So sometimes it needs just changing your environment.
And just the planning. I'll give an example. My family, at our very big age, mine, I still travel a lot with my parents, and our thing has always been 1 year will do a local trip, domestic within Uganda, and another international. So I don't want to go back, but say last year we did Bunyonyi, very beautiful holiday. This year we're going elsewhere. I'll reveal that later. Previously, then Dubai, then Egypt, etc., right? But we always alternated. There's always a domestic and always an international. And if you plan like that, then it means literally from March, even your siblings are saying, what's the plan?
Yeah.
Because we need to
start planning,
yes, we need to start saving up. We need to start putting money aside. So it is possible. It all starts from the determination to do it. You have to know the reason why you want to do it, and then plan and put money aside.
Yeah. The people who say that going with children, as in they will not remember anything, so why bother? What have you found to be true about that?
Well, one, I find that for children will remember from the age of, I'll say, well, mine from 5, but for some from 4. Right? Before that, I find that it's just parents who just want to feel like they travel with their children, but I actually discourage it. I always feel like you should wait until the children are at least 4 and above to be able to do, major holidays. If your child is, let's say, 2 and then another 5, another 7, then of course, because of the 7-year-old,
you have to
you do that, right? But then I always say, for example, there are families that come to me and they have a 1, 3, and 4. And they want to do Dubai, and I'm like, how about I book a lovely family resort in Mombasa, or even just something domestic, or especially Mombasa. I always divert them to Mombasa Diani because they have beautiful family resorts with so much activity. You don't have to stress about so much. It's easier on the parents, like that. So we're just always on hand to really advise,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so someone else talked about the visa requirements in different places, how they are hectic and they require so much. So that is why, apparently, they have not traveled.
Of course, that's a huge major hindrance. And for as long as that is there, that is why Dubai is the most traveled to destination, because its visa is very easy. I don't even know if I can call it a visa, really, compared to what you go through for the others. I mean, you saw what you went through for the South African one.
I'm
sure at some point you were like, wait, what am I doing again?
Yeah.
That's why knowing the why, being that determined and knowing why, why you have to be so passionate about travel, but just knowing why you want to travel, you want to see the world and, be adventurous. I mean, it's hectic, yes. Like you have to submit so many documents, but we help you through it. Didn't we?
Yeah.
We give you all the requirements. We even provide the parts of all the travel related documents. We will speak to the embassy where we can. We try 100%, and that is how, when you look at our calendar, right? If you've looked at our travel calendar for 2024, more than half of those destinations require visas, and yet we still get quite a number of people. You saw how hectic the process was, but you went with quite a number of people to Cape Town, and there's so many also booked on next year's trips. So it's possible. It's possible. Nothing is, if you truly want something, few things in this life are easy. You just have to know the reason why you want to do it and go after it.
But I think also being more intentional of, okay, if I want to go to Cape Town earlier on, what are those requirements? And you start working on them now. If it's not possible, you find ways of working on them.
Yes, say Europe, you want to get a Schengen visa. They're very intent on looking at regular income in your account. So if you really want to, that you're going, let's say, on that June trip of next year, then you have to make sure you're banking, like you have regular income in your account, regular deposits, because that's what they look at. It's not even so much about the bank balance. It's just that regular income over, a list. They just need to know that you are a sensible member of society.
Yeah, not going to go and
earning. And it's not going to go and get stuck there. So that's where planning comes in. You can't just wake up now and say you want to go in 2 weeks to Paris. How? You won't get an appointment. You want, so many things will be wrong with your documents, and it will also be really expensive with flights. So that's why everything starts with
Planning. I love it. I love it.
Everything starts with planning.
So I did a poll again on my Instagram, asking people about travel agents, and Travelneza is a travel agent, right?
Yes.
Asking people, would you travel with a travel agent? And I got some people, just I think curious on, but I feel like travel agents hike the prices, or they're expensive. Me, I can just call the hotel, and I've seen that travel agents really hike the prices. Is that true? And how does Travelneza work?
So I can understand why people feel that way sometimes, because a lot of miscommunication happens. And indeed, people have had a lot of bad experiences with travel agents in general. Now, when you ask how Travelneza works, right? Travelneza, as just like many other travel companies, we curate these experiences, put together the airline prices, the flight prices, put together accommodation, put together the activities. What makes one better than the other is maybe, how well they understand their customer and how well they categorize them. Families, honeymoons, solo travelers, group trips, and know what activities to put together seamlessly. And it's one thing to do what you do well, but it's another to know how to communicate it, right? And I've found that a lot of issues are in communication. So just like with all these things that I've talked about that are put together to form these packages, these holiday packages, right? Each of them have their own policies. The flights have their policies, their terms and conditions. Hotels have their policies, terms and conditions, and so do activities. And if these things are not communicated on time, then it can lead to, a lot of misunderstandings. So, for example, someone books a package and then comes the day before and says, oh, now we can't travel. I would like to cancel. Now, the travel agent has already paid in full to the airline, has already paid in full to the hotel, activities, etc. Now, the hotel, the airline, some tickets are non-refundable. When allow me to just say a layman, like if you don't understand the system, the flights, right? There's seats in the same economy of the plane that are non-refundable. Some are 50% refundable. Some are 100%. There's none that's 100% refundable. They'll always deduct some taxes. There's just so many things in there which can actually be communicated very clearly by the travel agent, right? Which should be communicated clearly before the person even purchases the ticket, so that they know, so that if you're purchasing a non-refundable ticket, then you will be forced to first think. You'll go back to your husband and say, but are we sure
we're going?
Because if we end up canceling, we're going to lose at least 50% of this whole package, because almost 50% is the flight, So a lot of it is in communication, and some haven't done it as well. We have also been guilty sometimes of not communicating that as well. But I would say that over the years, we have now perfected that communication. In fact, I think you've seen our WhatsApp groups. We really communicate until sometimes I feel like it becomes like a whole lecture. So we try and slip in like a nice video of the place to like lighten the mood, because we've learned the hard way. Even the hotels, so someone comes and says, now their friends were joining us, but then first we want to go to the hotel that they prefer. Kumbe, they had confirmed, they had paid, and the hotel will tell you, I mean, even now in any hotel that as long as you've paid, for a hotel to give you cash back, never. They'll give you a credit note, maybe another night. They'll tell you one day when you want to come back, try explaining that, especially to a Ugandan. Wow. It becomes, Travelneza has eaten our money. This agency has eaten our money. So it's a lot of that. That's why I started with, it's about communication, right? Yes. So we try, we do our best to communicate everything so clearly, even when it becomes just too much to communicate, so that's where it is. Otherwise, no, I wouldn't say that they're cheating. They're actually not. It's just maybe poorly communicated, but they're really not cheating. What was the other issue? Increasing. No. I find that a lot of people that think that first-time travelers who can't imagine that maybe a package can be like the Cape Town trip that you went on was about 1,600, and that in there there's 5 nights accommodation, there's your flights, there's the airport transfers, there's the activities every day, and really beautiful, well put together activities. You're picked up every single day from the hotel, taken to these places and brought back. It is actually quite a bit of that put in there. And of course, every travel company has service fees. Every company has service fees. Even a carpenter has service fees. Everyone, even this chair, you think he's only going to charge for the wood. He has to charge for his services. Yes, labor, right? So all that is curated in there. And on the flip side, if you actually believe that you can put it together that well, then I just genuinely don't believe that you can do it. You can personally do it better than a really good travel company would do it for you.
Who is on ground. Yes. And I think for me, the thing would be convenience. I'm a convenience person. Like I want to go. Yes, someone said, yes, I would use a travel agent. I would, to avoid any inconveniences, and also companies have great deals. Another person said, I used a company. I would use a company to destinations where I have no family, or I'm traveling, like you have no clue. There's no one you can call and say, but Mpozi, where can I, do this from, or things like that. The thing about convenience is that you pay for it. And that's what people need to understand. Even me at home, I don't want to go to the market to go and be picking the tomatoes, I just call my guy Michael. I'm like, Michael, this is the list, please deliver. Do you know that the comfort of just sitting and waiting for the things to come, is just something else. So you have to pay for it. So I think, of course, the mentality, of course, even if you book your hotel alone and go and book your taxi, all that.
Book your flights, book your activities.
Of course you can, but it may not be as seamless, or you may not get to enjoy that convenience. So I think it's weighing what you really want. But for me, seeing as I travel to Cape Town, we are living I was just getting out, knowing that everything is covered. And I could also see when we went to Table Mountain, the queue at Table Mountain was like from here up to I don't know where. But us, we just walked like this. So honestly, the queue was like SARS. From worries. And I was like, why are they all? I would be like, it's cow. I would not line up for all those hours to see Table Mountain. But we walked through.
Let me even add something to that. About 4 years ago, I was going for a friend's wedding. So I usually, I lived in Joburg for so long. So I knew that part. But then Cape Town, I had never really done as a tourist, properly on my own. And so I did that. Didn't I end up at Table Mountain with a queue? It was like a whole anaconda.
It's long.
And then I remember I went to some office and I asked, okay, how much to jump the queue? How much to skip this? How much to... Now, it's through, a lot of my travels, I've really seen how inconvenient it can be, how this, that. So, and then also knowing which activities will appeal to this. Sometimes I go to some, I'm like, cancelled. Ugandans won't enjoy this. This category of people won't enjoy this, So back to what you were saying about Cape Town.
So it's a lot, because I think you have relationships in those different countries. So you've built those relationships, so it becomes easier for the people you work with. I could see that honestly, and I was just like, wow. We reached immediately. We just went straight up. So I really loved that convenience. So me, I would pay for convenience any day, anytime. Okay. So many people here also saying, yes, I would do it because it's easier, it's more convenient. Someone said I would travel with a company because I want to be a princess and just show up. I mean, why not? Easier planning, these activities, they help you convenience, basically. Someone said I used Travelneza. The experience was smooth. We'll use them again next year. That is Rachel. All right. So I really enjoyed the trip, and I would love to go back next year.
So where are you going? Tell us.
Next year, I make 30, the big 30. Oh my God. Finally, living the 20s. No. I feel old and I want to celebrate in style. And last time I went alone, you know, when I was telling people, ask me any question about the trip, everyone kept saying, where is Steve? Why didn't you go with Steve? Where's your husband? Where's your husband? Where's your husband?
I was looking at these questions like, okay.
A mom cannot enjoy solo, you know. But anyway, I enjoyed it so much, and now I want to enjoy it with him as well. So I want to, you know, celebrate the big 30, you know, enjoy Dubai like we have never before. Because we've been to Dubai years ago. I know things have changed, and I know you're going to put together a beautiful itinerary for us. Things we've not done before that's going to be exciting. So yeah, there's a March. Tell them about the March one, Dubai trip.
Yeah, well, let me. Did you know that next year Easter is in March, not April as usual?
Hey.
And meanwhile, that's just 3 months away. Yes, so it's part of the Easter trips. There's Dubai, Zanzibar, and Cape Town, and Johannesburg. But I'll talk about the Dubai one, right? Now, like we've been saying, we do Dubai very different from anyone else. Even the city tour, you know, there's always that city tour as part of the packages. Ours is totally different. You know, well-selected spots, very interesting, I'll let you experience it for yourself and come back and tell us.
Yeah.
Even the desert safari is in a totally different desert camp, totally different experience from the usual. There's the Miracle Gardens, Water Park, Wild Wadi. I prefer Wild Wadi to the Aquaventure. How would I explain it? Just more variety, more, you will see, you know. I know that Aquaventure has all the hype. There's the Flying Cup. Now, when we say Flying Cup, we're like, I'm not going to fly in a cup.
Is it flying?
It's a whole, it's like dinner in the sky. So you go up the view at the top, but you're strapped. It's not scary. You don't go really fast. Yeah, some of these things I don't even know how to describe. But it's beautiful. It's for seeing. And it's located in the most beautiful area, the JBR beach. Most scenic, clean beach in Dubai with so many restaurants. You'll actually have a really good time with Steve, by the way.
I can't wait.
Because we give you so much time there. Like you can sit, have a meal, have a drink, have a coffee, take pictures in so many of the spots. People usually take a change of clothes and chill on the beach. It's actually such a lovely day. So that is our Dubai, direct on Uganda Airlines. If you've done Dubai before, it is actually worth booking totally.
And how much is it?
It is 1,150.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that 1,150, there's a flight, 4 nights accommodation, a really good hotel, visas, and about 4 or 5 activities. You're picked up from the airport, picked up every day from the hotel to these activities and back. And we always go with Travelneza staff who just makes sure you have a good time. So even while you're in the mall, we know where is best to go shopping. In the evenings, where is best to go out for a drink or out for a good night viewpoint. You know, Dubai has a lot of that. You know, a lot of places you go take pictures of the... So it's definitely worth it. Guys,
I can't wait. If you want to come onto the trip, please be sure. By the way, when people are paying these monthly installments, do they pay them to you, or we first save in our bank account, then we come and release to you when we are ready?
No, you have to pay monthly to Travelneza. And we make it very convenient. We've got FlexiPay, MomoPay, Airtel Pay. Through the bank, we've got PesaPal, Visa. You know, we have a lot of people who, but my friend from Kenya wants to come, but my friend from the UK is joining. So we just have a very easy 3-step Visa payment link. But you can also use the link to pay by even mobile money, bank transfer, anything. So it's not just Visa. So we basically make it very convenient. About a month to the trip, we open up a WhatsApp group for those who would like to join that and just start, you know, updating people, documents that are required, which in case you're wondering is just your passport and yellow fever card, nothing more.
Wow.
And yeah,
we're ready.
I think that's pretty much it.
That's nice. That's nice. For me, I am ready. And just one final question as we conclude. Someone may be out there and they want to go for a trip in November.
Yeah.
And they start paying their monthly installments, etc. I know you touched a little on that, but what happens if I cannot go anymore, maybe you want to just tell them so they have it, they know what to expect when they are signing up and things like that.
So for that, as long as you tell us a month in advance, right, then we just move your deposit onto another destination in the calendar. So if you can't make, let's say, the Dubai one, first of all, we have Dubai like 3 times, 4 times on the calendar, so you can always move it to another, or to another destination, or if you would like a refund, then we work it out for you. Remember, we said there's all these policies which we actually communicate when you've just booked. So it will really depend on how close to the time, like 3 months to we've not yet paid any deposits and things like that. So then we can. But for the Neza Club to be what it is, affordable rates that are fixed. You can imagine there are people paying in installments for a November trip next year, right? That's where there's Phuket, there's Egypt, there's Cape Town. Now, for that to happen, we have to have actually deposited, a certain amount with the airlines, the hotels, etc. And for that to happen, that's why the deposits make sense. That's why the Neza Club is monthly deposits towards these trips. Yeah.
Amazing, guys. Personally, I am up for building and making memories with the family, with Steve, with friends, and all those things. When times get rough, those are the things you remember. I went to Table Mountain, it was so nice. Let me feel so good. Then you see like a picture. And life seems better.
and the picture is so beautiful.
Beautiful. So much. So I really, really love what Travelneza is doing. And I can't wait to take you on the journey of how we are traveling and how it can be made possible for you. So I love the conversation. Any last words that you want to tell, especially moms out there who are just not traveling just any last words?
You have to start now. Even if you're going to do it in 2025, start putting aside money now, because it's like we said, nothing is easy. You just have to plan for what you really want. And there'll never be a better time. I mean, think about it. The hardest thing about life is that now you're having children now, right? But these are your 30s. These are your youthful years. Travel now will never be the same as travel in your 40s or travel in your 50s. I'm not saying it's bad for the ones in their 40s, but it's just you have to enjoy the phase that you're in at that point, right? So now with Ugandans, we're so lucky over Africans that a lot of us have our judges here. Friends with good nannies. So as a couple, you can actually leave your children with a nanny, with your mom, with an auntie. There's so many willing. So we have to take advantage of that support around us to be able to make time for us as moms, right? As couples, that's actually really important because, I mean, think about it. If you waited for your last one to reach 5 years old, that will be 5 years until you and Steve go on holiday.
And now my back is paining. I can't climb.
So yes, so just make the decision and plan for it, and we're here to help you throughout. And when you join these trips, you'll be shocked at how many moms there are on these trips. Did you find that as well?
I was like, wow.
Quite a number. You get on, you're feeling guilty. I've left my child. Then you start talking to people and you're like, hey.
I have 4.
Right. Yes. So it's not that hard. Just make the decision and do it.
Amazing. Thank you, Laura, for being here. So guys, I just want to let you know that our set today is at the Canary Hotel. Now, you're thinking about, having a staycation or going away with your family or, just time to unwind as a mom. This is a place that you can come to. They have a discount for you at only 300K. You get a double room with breakfast. Imagine it was 500K, but in this season until 15th January, it's only 300,000. So please use that opportunity and come refresh and unwind. Yes. My name is Lisa Kusima. I'm always here to inspire.